Good morning, I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. You know, it's that time of the year, I know over the weekend, I'm sure a lot of people were watching sports activity and excited about the fact that we're entering into football season. And I love the regular segments that I get to do with Chris Kidd, with chriskidd.com. That's Kidd. chriskidd.com. We get to talk about sports, we talk about business, we talk about entertainment, but his forte is money and coaching people when it comes to their money and to take their financial situation to a better place and to the next level. And I love stories, particularly as it relates to sports, that helps convey that. And today's segment, I bet Chris Kidd, you've been geeking out all week over today's guest.
Yeah, we've got some pretty cool stuff to talk about. Are you ready to get started, or?
Why don't you tell them a little bit about what you do and then introduce our guest?
Well, I'm a financial coach, and basically I just do whatever I can to help people with different financial situations, whether it's personal finance and showing them how to get out of debt, how to manage their money better, how to get into entrepreneurship and running their own company, or just starting, even if it's something small. I think everybody needs some kind of business of their own. And then the investment side, certainly understanding how investments work and not just handing your money over to somebody and saying, here, you just do what you think is right, but how knowing how to understand stuff and see changes, especially anybody that's paid attention to the stock market over the last week or two. Is there's a lot of people who are very confused right now, and I want my clients to be able to understand how to look through stuff like that and not just either panic or say, well, I'll just write it out, and then you may run into another 2008 situation. And
yeah, that can happen very easily. And I actually think that the fundamentals may be worse in some ways in 2008. I mean, when you look, anyway, we could have a different discussion about that. All it does is point to the need of a professional like you in their corner. Tell us about who we have as a guest. And this guy, by the way, can speak a lot on the same subject.
Yeah, my guest today is known for his NBA career, but he's also got an awesome book out too that we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But he's also talking about money, and one of the things that we want to talk about is what he's learned as far as his time in the NBA and seeing mistakes, or as it says in his book, the financial fouls of professional athletes. So let's go ahead and just have him on. Hey, Adonal Foyle, welcome to The Price of Business.
Thank you guys very much for having me.
Real quickly, kind of tell us your elevator speech, if you will. Kind of give us your story.
I'm originally from the Caribbean, very small island, about 500 people when I was growing up. I started playing basketball at the age of 15, and before long, I was literally in a plane to the United States on a basketball scholarship. I met two wonderful people, Professor J. and Joan Mandel, who became my legal guardian, and I came to the States and went to high school and eventually went to Colgate University and eventually was drafted by the Golden State Warriors in 1997.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your high school that you went to was bigger than the island you were growing up on.
Indeed. My first stop was in Philadelphia at Cardinal O'Hara, and we had almost over 2,000, 3,000 kids there, which was remarkable, unbelievable. I've not seen that many people for a long time, much less the whole idea of a traffic jam was pretty extraordinary to me. So it took me a very long time to get used to the fact that this is a very, very much bigger country than I was used to.
Yeah, no question about it. So how long did you play in professional sports?
13 years, played 10 years for Golden State, and about 3 years for Orlando Magic. And then there was a 10-day stint in Memphis, which was awesome as well.
Yeah, very good.
Well, I want to ask, and I don't know if it's probably not a great thing to ask. You can make enemies. Is there a favorite team that you played for, or Maybe I should ask which owner was the best that you enjoyed, or
he doesn't seem to like either question.
Yeah, basketball is pretty extraordinary. I mean, you coming from where I did and having the opportunity to play in professional sports, that in itself is amazing. Obviously, and owners change over time. For me, I've really loved my time in Golden State. I played there for 10 years. It was difficult. It was hard, but now I am back with the team, and we are the NBA world champions. And I've also loved my time in Orlando. I really did. And I know it's, because I think you get an opportunity to do different things. When I first went to Orlando, it was literally to come in and work with Dwight and be a part of that organization to help his transition in terms of his game development. So I do see roles differently, and I do see expectations differently. But I really enjoyed my time in the league, more so than any particular location. But certainly being back with the Golden State Warriors is a very cool thing. When you turn your career around and come back, and then you have a chance to be part of an extraordinary, journey, and going from not winning a championship since 1975 to winning the NBA championship this year with some of the greatest young players in the league. So it's been clearly a very exciting time in the Bay Area.
Well, Adonal, I want to give you a second to talk a little bit about some of the things that you learned financially from, like, some of the mistakes that you've seen, and then some of the things that you learned, to do, the right things with your own money.
With regard to, I think, finances, being in the league, I mean, you see very early that guys have an extraordinary ability to make tremendous amount of money. I mean, that's part of what I think the first thing you understand is that for NBA players and for professional sports, we have figured out how to make money. That most Americans have been, will try during the course of the career trying to figure out how to make, enough money to retire at a decent age. And the NBA, the question is, you're gonna have that money. You're gonna have access to that money. The question becomes, do you have it when you retire and when you leave the game? So I wanted really to look at that issue, because I saw more and more players were getting into financial trouble. I did my master's in sports psychology, and I went back and looked at for my master's thesis. I looked at 10 retired players, 10 retired basketball players, and I talked to them about just some of the challenges they had, and what were some of the difficult things that they weren't expecting in transition in their retirement. And a lot of them talk about financial distress. I mean, so couple that with what you see every day in the papers and some of the things you hear about, I really wanted to dive into this issue and to figure out how to really help guys, avoid some of those challenges.
Hey, I appreciate this very much. This is a great topic. Obviously, we need to do a multiple part on this because this is huge.
Yeah.
We have to call it over for this segment, though. Foyle, Foyle, 31.com. That's the website. Final thoughts with about a minute there, Chris Kidd.
Well, I definitely say, like you said, there's a lot more information, but I would tell people to look up his book, Winning the Money Game. I'm actually looking forward to reading it myself, but I think they'll get a lot out of that. Yeah,
I want to probe more deeply the next time we chat about why you felt the need to write this book. Obviously, there's a lot there, but from an anecdotal perspective, your own personal perspective. But time was short. This is a very timely topic. This isn't only good for professional athletes. This book is good for anyone who's a type of fielder and might have a temporary short, shelf life. A lot of money. But, in other words, anyone in the oil industry could use this book.
Yeah, anybody that has money, a lot of money up front, a lot of times that money is not guaranteed for a really, really long term. So you got to learn how to manage it a little differently.
Those huge annual contracts are designed to cover many years because they're only going to be able to play for a few. Anyway, thanks so much for being with us. Great topic.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It was great. All right, when we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com, and this is The Price of Business.